Hello, I'm Jeremy Rivera with a special edition of Unscripted SaaS. I'm here with Malith, who's going to introduce himself and tell us why he is the master of all things SaaS. I'm just kidding. He's going to introduce himself, talk a bit about his expertise in leading Zapdigits, a big competitor in the reporting space. We're going to dig into a little bit of the company history and its mission, but won't you tell us a little bit about yourself first, a little bit of your experience before you got into the SaaS game?
Yeah, sure. My name is Malith, and yeah, like you said, I'm co-founder of Zapdigits, and we are building a client reporting tool for marketing agencies. Before I started Zapdigits, basically, I came from a technical background, and I have been building SaaS product around 15 years now. I have working with the scale-ups like Brevo is currently a unicorn in one of the unicorn in Europe, but also worked in a startup world for past 10 years. Last 5 years, I was working for insurtech company in Netherlands, and before that, I was also in Germany, that in Brevo and a few other companies. I also built my own product before, and after all these years, I always wanted to build a SaaS product, but I never really thought there is a good idea, or either I don't know. I always just had this worry, I not right time. I cannot go full time on something because always there's this fear that you don't never know what's gonna happen. That was when I was 20s. Then I hit my 30s. Now I feel like, okay, if I don't take the risk now, I won't have a chance. It won't be that easy. I don't have any kids right now, so I'm quite free. So I started Zapdigits last year, and I decided. I wasn't sure if I'm going full time, but first few months I got a lot of feedbacks, and it was going well. So that's why I went full time, and that's how I started Zapdigits. But I'm basically currently based on Netherlands, originally from Sri Lanka, but I have been working and living in Europe for past 20 years in Germany and Italy, and now I'm in Netherlands.
That's quite a journey. I'm curious, what is it about this particular, because you can make a SaaS in a lot of different verticals. What was the problem slash use case that you had identified as, you know, solvable with a SaaS? And what was your original founding thinking of, oh, I can solve that with this?
Great question. I will be honest. When we start Zapdigits, our direction was different. We was not focusing on marketing agencies or marketers. Initially, I had a problem that when I was working with my other project, I had a co-founder, not very technical co-founder. He asked me every day, like, "Hey, what is our revenue in Stripe, and what is our some data from our database, and some data on our email campaign." So I didn't want to give all the access to everything to my co-founder, that non-technical co-founder. So I was looking for like a solution for dashboard, and
Mm.
that's how I was like, okay, I could do this. So I built it as an internal tool. That's why if you see right now is still on Zapdigits, there is Superbase. We are also official partner with them, and we have Stripe and some data connectors that you don't see in like other bigger competitors from us. So because we started focusing on entrepreneurs and founders, but then I launched the project of focusing on the same direction, and then I got a lot of feedback from marketing agencies instead of or marketers, because they are the one who use these kind of tools more than founders. Got really less traction from entrepreneurs. So especially I was focusing on like smaller startups, like 2-3 people, but they're also not willing to pay. They don't see the value so much because they could, especially right now, they could just wipe code something very quickly. I think they would do that because they only need some data from their database. I've pivoted. So basically, I already knew like, okay, I'm going for marketing agencies. Then few months back, I did a lifetime deal in in not AppSumo but another company. It went pretty well, and I did like a lot of webinars, live webinars, and I got a lot of people bought the platform. And best thing was they gave feedback, also a lot of live feedback, and they had a lot of comments on their private Facebook group. And also then some people bought it. They like most people bought it as a support because I'm starting, and they gave feedback if it goes really well and they have a really good they have a lifetime product for one time fee. And still I'm talking to those customers. They're sending me feedback saying like, hey, what do you think about this feature and those kind of things. So because of that traction, I started pivoting to the marketing agencies. And then I started figuring out like, okay, how can we be different than other companies? Then I noticed this is also not like a very original idea. Of course, there's already like a big guys for a long time, especially like agency analytics. And of course, Google Data Studio or Looker Studio, they changed the name, I think. And most people go there. But then we were trying to figure out how can we be different, because adding data connectors, like those things, data sources are one thing. Of course, I started adding a lot of data sources. Now we have around 30, but that's not the only thing, because everyone has a lot of data sources now. Then we started focusing on small and mid-size agencies. Then we are focusing on white labeling also. So if you want to show your dashboards or reports with your domain name and your colors and basically white label as your thing. Normally, if you want to use our competitors, you have to pay a lot of money because it's the highest plan. So instead, we are
Yeah.
focused on our offering this for our any of our plans.
Yeah, I can tell you, my background, I worked with Raven Tools, which was one of the very early players in the reporting and dashboard space for marketing and analytics. So yeah, definitely, it is kind of that a good pinhole of like, okay, you want to white label the tool. Almost every other platform is putting that at the top of the stack, but I think that's great to put it at your baseline. Hey, bring in, let's empower your white label, because there's so many little minute things that matter to agencies that are just like it's like you want to pay extra for that, I guess. But it's also part and parcel of that delivering value aspect of an agency. You have to look like you have more together than their internal marketing team as at any time. So if you can deliver, the level of reporting or visibility the client wants or needs, and take that pain point away, that's a huge advantage for agencies. So if you can, you know, bulk up those muscles, white label for the agency, that's always super solid. And I just have to give you a big shout out and kudos for finding a recursive feedback loop of getting people that'll actually tell you useful things, not
Yeah.
like, oh, it was good or it was too expensive. It was good, but it's too expensive. Like, what does that even mean? Does that mean that the SaaS itself, is it priced too high, or do you think that it didn't deliver the value for it, or it's not? I don't want to pay money for it because my client is paying for X and it doesn't do that, or I found a competitor that's got a crappier product, but I'm willing to pay less for it. Like, there's so many layers to that question of like, it's too expensive, versus getting people in early who are giving you their feedback and kind of a little bit of a layup of like, hey, tell me what it is that is your pain point as an agency, and like slam dunk, then you can just add
Yeah.
those. How has that worked from a marketing perspective of taking those? Are you like doing feature-based marketing where you're kind of touting as you develop the next connector? Does that become your next blog post and social post, or is there a longer term marketing vision that you have?
Um, we didn't have very solid. We still don't have like a very solid plan. Like, okay, how are we going to SaaS led or whatever? Like in the how we started in the beginning, it was we need to get as many data connectors, data sources as possible to if you want to go near the competitor, even close to the competitors, especially like a Google set of data connectors like a Search Console, analytics, and all the basic stuff. And so what we did was we added like most used. We went to our competitors and then we checked like what are the most used data sources, and we added those then. And then we got like especially in the early feedback loop from lifetime deal people, they added a lot of feedback on we have like our roadmap on public, and they can also add feature requests there, and we got some feature requests there. And also some people just wrote to me an email. Also on the product we have also where you can add feedback. So a lot of people, most feedback I got was like adding in the beginning was data source missing. This one is missing. I want Klaviyo and whatever. A lot of people want different data sources. So I was really focusing on building those data sources in the beginning a lot. And then it started getting different feedback. Like it's not about data sources, and okay, can we add a password to this dashboard, and how we can change something. So we started. Of course, we also got like a bad feedback, like you said, like okay, this just not working for me, and I'm leaving by, and something didn't work, and they didn't even ask; they just left. So we got a lot of those kind of churns and feedback too, but of course there was some good feedback, and there were also some new feedback coming on that I'm very excited that we're trying to figure it out, that they are building an AI feature that you can also kind of like an agent that you can talk to all your data sources and create reports just via an AI. But I'm very careful with that because of all the EU, and I don't want to share the data from to OpenAI. So, but a good thing is this also feature request coming from a user, and he said like he will also for like do the beta testing. Like I'm basically what I'm normally do right now. If someone requests something, I ask like, oh, would you be available to give me feedback after we launch? So before I'm going live, I ask them to test and give feedback, and then if someone very interested, they would give me feedback. So marketing perspective, we are not really focusing on specifically like, okay, we are building data sources. We are trying to be like, because one thing is we are lean and we a small team, and we can build, I have the tech, I'm the tech guy also, so I can build something quite fast. Before, if there's something new that we can build out before our competitors, so I'm gonna jump into it. Recently, we launched also this AI SEO analytics, basically not analytics, AI SEO reporting. So basically, just you can see your visibility and all these kind of things you can add to your client report. Those kind of things, if we can have a quick win, so I'm normally adding those. And yeah, just for marketing perspective, we promote whatever we have. Like mostly right now, we are focusing on promoting these features that we launch. Basically, every month we have quite a lot of new updates, not a lot of new features, but improvements, and also maybe one data source or maybe partnership announcements. So those kind of things. So basically, it's whatever comes with in the month with our work.
What are some of the data sources that you turn to extract some sort of insight about visibility in AI? What are the APIs that you're calling to the vendors? What are those KPIs kind of looking like for you to include that type of data into your report? And I guess the flip side of that is what's being asked for from the agencies, which of course is an end reflection of what it seems like the clients want to see. So let's start with the actual data that you are able to find and present, and then we'll talk about, what's actually being asked for, and is it even possible to give?
Yeah, you mean in general or like specifically on the AI SEO side, or?
Specifically on the
Yeah,
AI SEO side.
yeah, this is kind of tricky, but I think there are also now tools that only do this, but we added only like a part as the data source because quite simple. What we are doing right now is we are asking AI to like a different type of chatbots like OpenAI, ChatGPT, Gemini, and like a few other chatbots. Like we are asking the same question. Like we are passing the brand and the website and asking the questions about like what are our competitors and what is our credibility and like all these important data. But it is kind of like you cannot 100% say like the credibility and some visibility things you can get from the AI, like as a reply from directly from the AI, like, oh, this is what we are showing. Like for example, if you ask ChatGPT, what do you show for the unscripted SaaS, they will give you the report back to you in a JSON format. So basically what we are doing is we are showing like we are getting like from all of the AI chatbots, and then we are showing as a report in average. But this is like in real life, if someone from India or Pakistan asks the same question, like uses different answers, so it's very tricky. It's not like SEO right now.
Yeah.
I think probably you know better than me about this side. I think nobody knows how exactly you can improve and what exactly you should track. At least right now, we are showing the credibility and visibility and giving like a little bit of the visibility over your competitors and what kind of prompt asked by your competitors and like what prompt that you are showing up. So those kind of things we are for now we are giving. But this is like but this is a generic thing like most of the tools that offer right now. But of course they are trying to figure out different ways, like if you can track a specific prompt, and I think it will change in the future. Maybe hopefully it will be more clear, but for me at least I couldn't find a way that there is a way that we can improve the AI visibility, and there is specific numbers that we should focus on. I don't even know. Sometimes if you ask the same question 5 times, you get 5 different answers. They pull out from 5 different places or random places.
Yes.
Also, like not very like the domain authority doesn't matter. Sometimes it's like a very new blog. They pull from those places too. So it is very strange because in the beginning, like I have another domain like Zapdigits.ai that I had just a landing page with just the content, and the buttons are redirected to my normal domain, zapdigits.com. I asked some question about my brand, and it's pulling data from my AI domain that I never promoted anywhere. This domain authority 0. So it is so strange and very weird. So AI SEO data, yeah, we are showing what we like in general now, what every platform does. And hopefully in the future, there will be very solid numbers and solid things that you can track, hopefully. To answer your yeah, you have something to say about AI SEO?
It's good to know, like just kind of defining down, oh, hey, it is a hot mess out there. So, the best you can do right now is directly connect to, make it so the agency doesn't have to put on that building hat to try to get the APIs, because you could try to take a day or two and figure out in Claude, okay, I guess I'll build a skill to ask this and get this API and connect. It's funny because people pretend like, oh, AI is going to do everything for you, but there's still a skill set involved, and there's also like a level of determination involved of like, I'm determined to actually get this finished, to get this data and to verify it in some way. I mean, because just because an LLM tool says that it's checked a data point and gives you an answer doesn't always actually mean even anything other than that it's willing to lie to you. Like,
Yeah.
so I guess the question is there an aspect of AI that you're looking to bake into um, the reporting side of like storytelling, of like having an endpoint of or an interface to be able to turn, a massive Google Analytics export into usable information, story, like wrapping it into a storytelling format? Or is that something that you mentioned? There's a lot of GDPR rules, there's a lot of European rules around privacy that kind of lock data in certain ways, and some companies are hesitant to take their analytics and allow it to be processed by any AI at all, because of obviously the is it learning? Is it going to absorb that in some way and it's going to surface where else up? Um, so what does that confluence look like of potential AI or ML services to help clarify or surface reporting versus concerns on privacy or data controls?
Yeah, the privacy concern is in Europe is very real. Like I have customers in US and Germany and Netherlands also. I can see the different like the hesitance of if I want to get like some information from US companies, agencies, they don't have any hesitance. They just send me like, hey, here's access to our data, and they don't ask questions also. But in Germany or in Europe, they are very careful. Like they don't want to have access. They don't want to like share anything. Like they are very careful on the privacy side. So I have to make sure that yeah, I am still focusing on the privacy part because it's part of our core values. But I'm trying to figure out because there are solutions that you don't always have to be a wrapper from OpenAI. So you can still host your own LLM, for example, or Llama or something else that open source and host on your own server, or just a few GPUs that probably cost a bit more than just using OpenAI, but it's completely possible to have it on our own infrastructure, so the data is still stay inside us. But yeah, of course, you have to feed the data of users. Like for example, you can get data from Google Analytics, and before asking the questions, you have to feed this data, and basically similar to MCP. So you have to make sure you are giving the correct data to the AI to get the better response, because it's your AI is smart as your schema. Like as long as you give the correct data and a correct description, then you will get good answers back. But I also was, Reddit and other places looking around and what people say, and most people complain about my competitors, especially of the agency analytics and some other competitors that already have AI. Sometimes they have already implemented AI for like kind of a summary of your dashboard. So sometimes it's not really giving correct data, so correct answer,
Yeah.
just like that's even bad. Like sometimes you can have your own AI feature, but if it
Yeah.
doesn't work, that comes back harder, like for the company.
I have experienced that. I input and imported data in from Google Analytics and asked a question, and it gave me an answer that I knew it smelled wrong. Like, no, no, that's not right. Um, which is a huge concern, because like there's if you're not thinking about it, if you're not concerned, if you're just taking these things at surface value, that it's going to do that, then you could be in some major legal trouble, or trouble with your boss, if you're not aware of the ramifications. Like I know, some lower level people that I worked with, they had an analytics task, and they passed back an answer um, within a company, and I messaged them and said, "Hey, recheck your data, recheck this before you." chickadee chackadee before you riggedy rackety, right?
Yeah. Especially with the data, is very tricky. I mean, I see in the coding side that a lot of people developers started using AI to code, and I'm also using sometimes. But I check everything. But I see there are still a lot of crap coming from my AI. Like it's not really good for if you want to build a production like grade application, and you will run into really technical depths if you really follow all the codes that provided by AI. I think similar thing with the data, that it's all about trust. Like if you can trust like what answers your AI bringing, like especially if you're a data platform, then it's not a good thing. It's for us, like we have some agencies, they have 30, 50, 30, 40 clients. And if you share some, I don't know, a dashboard with the AI in it and with the wrong answers, or if your client start asking questions from our AI, if they get wrong answers, like, okay, you have to go back and forth even more. Like basically we are trying to help with the AI, like your customers can clients can get answers directly from your dashboard. But if they're coming back to you asking like, hey, why we have low clicks or something, and then
Yeah.
you have to dig into it even more, and it's not at then being helpful. So that's why I have to be careful when I build something related to AI. So right now I'm still in the building phase on the AI feature.
Yeah.
But it's more about, it's not the complexity. It's not very complex, but to figure out if everything, like, is it always works? Can we guarantee that it
Yeah.
always works? So
Yeah, the quality control is a big question, because if you're like, the fidelity has to be like, you have to find a way to dial that quote unquote temperature in AI down as low as possible, have redundant checks, because even your redundancy checks, if you ask Claude sometimes to check itself, it won't catch itself. It will perpetuate. And even so, yeah, that's challenging. To kind of change the subject a little bit, I'm curious about the company side of things. You said you have a partner. How did that come about? What does that other partner bring to the table? And you touched on this too. What's your vision? What's your mission statement? What's your don't be evil statement inside your company that people should know about?
Yeah, I think vision-wise, we already talk is privacy first from Europe. Basically, we are trying to go that way. But talking about my partner, my co-founder, actually, she's my fiance also, and we we know each other for a long time. And we basically, when I had this idea, I'm the idea guy. Basically, I have a lot of ideas. I tell her every time, hey, I have a new idea. I have a new idea. Like it's been trouble for sometimes. I had too many ideas. I started working on multiple ideas, and I ended up saying like, oh, I have to control this, like I have to focus on one thing. So one day I told her about this idea of Zapdigits, and she really liked it. She's actually UX UI designer, and after a few months, I like just way before I started the company, start building the company, she showed me like, oh, I worked on some designs, and I actually, it motivated me, and I saw it like, oh, this is so cool. It got me excited to build this, and basically that's how we started. And she's basically focusing on the product and UX and UI part, and she's helping me with also like also the marketing side. But I'm kind of like trying to do everything, the development and sales and marketing. Also, basically, right now, I'm from a technical background, but I have to learn all this, the sales part too. I have to talk to clients, and because we are very small teams, basically, we are working together, doing everything by ourselves. Yeah, but last month we actually started hiring two agencies. For one is for SEO and one for the go to market. Basically, they are doing outreach. So this is we will see how it's gonna go. It takes some time also get some results.
Tell me, you got Matt Brooks of Esoteric. He's got an agency. You're in an elevator. You got 30 seconds on the clock. What does your pitch look like right now?
Wow, this is a lot of pressure. Yeah, basically, if you want to, if you, I'm sure you're working on an agency. If you have 10 clients, how much time do you spend per month? I'm sure you're spending like 30 plus hours every month on your reporting, and so you can reduce that time to 10 minutes, and you create the report one time, and you can automate it for monthly. So basically, that would be my first pitch. Of course, it's never done the elevator pitch.
Yeah. Not bad, not bad. I always like to look at it from understanding the pitches is looking at, like the value tiers of value that you're talking about to your end customer. And so the lowest tier is actually money. So the next level up is time. So I'm glad you're at
Yeah.
least up at the second tier. Um, you're not at the bottom. No, this comes from an interview that I did last year, which was, I'll find the link to it. I'll add it to the show notes. I apologize. I do not remember his exact name, but it was he is a consultant, and he helped founders work on their pitches. And the largest thing was about structuring the offer, because the time savings is good because it goes beyond just that, you're not saying I'm cheaper than the other solution. But the next layer up is about, and you enable them to meet their objectives. And so that's the next tier up of, hey, you want to be the next level agency. You want to solve that problem. It's like a goal. I can help you complete your goal. And then the tier above that, there's 4 tiers. The top tier is, I can help you be what you want to be. You want to be a successful agency owner, and you want to, it's about identity. And if you think back to the 19s and what was so successful about those early advertisements, it wasn't, we have a car go fast. No, it was about, you can live your dream. The Eagle Falcon Bird 5000 enables you to be the man that you want to be. It's that Don Draper moment. Um, so,
This is
with
pretty good. Pretty
agencies,
good. This one.
yeah, with agencies, digital marketing agencies, you're at that top of the tier, and yeah, time is a factor. Solving the problem of juggling resources could be that pain point that you're solving there. And then, if there is an agency at play, then there is a hierarchy and there is leadership that's at the top. And so those are usually also the decision makers of which tools are at play. And so what is it that they're trying to achieve as a company, and how can your SaaS or product fulfill it? So from like a general marketing perspective, looking at those next 2 tiers up, like beyond, hey, we save time. And that was, our pitch at Raven Tools is, hey, we're going to save you 50 hours in your reporting per month. Pretty solid. But I think, moving a little more up of, removing the doubt from your reporting stack. You
Yeah.
know, keep because you want reporting to be solid because it helps you retain your customers. So it's about success. So we enable your agency success with the reports and dashboards you need, um, to save time and money. Like, don't not save money, don't not save time, but also have that vision casting, have that, come out in that marketing too.
Yeah,
You
this
know,
is. I think it's very very valid because recently I did some the promotional some social media promotion to check like what agencies really wants. Basically, we were focusing on adding like how can you add few thousand MRR to your agency without adding more clients. So we did like some kind of giveaway ebook to this, like basically adding reporting as another service. There are already some agencies adding reporting as a service, but there are a lot of other agencies they have like they are selling SEO services, but report they think that's some should be part of it, but it's not. They are not upselling that part. So we were also trying to get in that direction too. Like, okay, you can if you want to add more money, we can help you like white label it and add some cost to it, and then you can easily add more money to your agency without adding new clients. So that's very valid what you said, that if we can help, it's not just about money and also not just about time. So we are helping to get more money for them too. But I can improve the pitch actually.
I'm curious if is there any direction or bias in the industries that your agencies are covering? Is it, mostly e-commerce agencies, your agencies that are covering, local services, or is it agencies who are running the gamut, or agencies that are doing more than just SEO? Is it like I'm curious about the type of industries that these agencies are fulfilling, because that's always a challenge as an agency to figure out like what's our bread and butter. I worked at one agency, super outdoorsman type guy, ended up working with Jeff Foxworthy. They had all of these arrow companies and camouflage and hunting and deer traps. Like that was their niche, because he knew like that circuit. Is there any bias that you've seen of agencies types of what clients that they are doing in the end, or has it been across the board?
um, Surprisingly, most of agencies that we have are very generic, very like digital marketing focused, also like SEO. They still do paid marketing, performance marketing, but 90% of their focus is SEO and also local SEO. That's why they mostly they are looking only like 3 or 4 data connectors, like Search Console, analytics, and or also like business profile. So these things, only these 3 they want. Don't even care much about Google Ads and Meta Ads, because I'm not sure. Even like I saw some agencies, they just have if they want to report, they just share a table. They don't really care about the looks of if you're doing performance marketing. But SEO marketing and local SEO agencies, they basically using the platform. But also, I recently talked to few customers. They are focused on email marketing, only email marketing agencies. So that's why they started asking for like Klaviyo and Mailchimp and those kind of the data sources. So I also started seeing this part that we are only focusing on email marketing, but 90% of the agencies are very SEO focused agencies right now.
Um, I've started adding this section of asking my previous guest. I asked them what's their challenge right now as a small business owner, and pass on. And I'll give you a chance to think about your biggest pain point and ask a question for the next guest. So their question was, what are you solving? How are you approaching cash flow within your own business and solving that particular pain point?
That's I'm not sure exactly. We are in that we are focusing on that too much because we are very early, and currently we are our main KPI main goal is to getting all the users we can and get all the increase our MRR, and so right now we are focusing on the cash flow, like how we can managing it is not hiring too much, like too early. We were tempting to hire like developers and marketing, like in-house people, but I've already noticed like it's not gonna work a few months because I have to spend some time on the recruitment, and I'm not sure if I can find the right person if they don't click. Okay, a lot of time wasted and also money. So that's why right now we are trying to stay lean as possible. And yeah, of course, that means spending is very, very low. Also, infrastructure wise, luckily that I got experience that how to build the product early stage that without spending like 100,000 for the infrastructure. So we are trying to make it like as lean as possible, only scale the infrastructure when we have to scale. So we are also saving a lot of money there, and there are also tricks, not tricks, like basically AWS, and there are bigger companies that give you like a credit for like a 1 year, like most of these big infrastructure companies, so you don't have to pay for them. Of course, when you after 1 year you start paying a bunch of money, that's really good enough time to like have very safety first cash flow. Yeah, first now, right now we are trying to get like improve our funnel and get more users and reduce the churn. Our churn is right now quite okay. Of course, in the beginning we had some churn, and now it's going steady. But the biggest problem pain point is talking to the agencies. These people are so busy. I don't know how. They're like a lot of honestly, like a lot of people coming from the our search ads because they have a problem, and they want to migrate from other tool, or they want to find a new tool. They want to create reports as a new service. Otherwise, if I'm trying to sell and do outreach, nobody cares.
Give a shout out to the next big thing coming out from y'all, and if there's any social media channels where you're hanging out and promoting stuff, if you have a particular offer, a PDF, a downloadable, a video, a letter that you mail to people, whatever you're promoting, let us know what it is and where people can find you.
Yeah, you can. They can find me. I'm trying to be on all the places, like mostly in LinkedIn, because there are a lot of businesses there. Surprisingly, I saw in Reddit also there are tons of agencies hanging out. So I'm especially getting feedback. It was a great place, but not to market because marketing is very tricky in Reddit, and being careful. But yeah, you can find me in any social media, mainly LinkedIn. And also we have our LinkedIn page that basically we are sharing like freebies, like ebooks. And also we have our blog. You can check it out, zapdigits.com.
Thank you so much for your time, Malith. I appreciate it.
No worries.
Wait,
Thank you so much.
hold on. You didn't answer.
Okay.
You need to give me a question for the next guest. I'm going to be talking to both SaaS and SEOs and small business owners. What question in that space would you like answered?
Oh, okay. Let me think. Some questions. One thing I could always in my mind is basically, when do you think that you need venture capital cash? Like, when do you need some cash from investors? Because I thought like investors are here to help. Of course, they want to make money. So you have to either go to them in a pre-seed round, like basically you don't have a product, you have an idea, and they will invest in you. Or if you already built like wanted to go on a bootstrap and you have a product that doing like, I don't know, a few thousand MRR, how do you decide if you should go or you should stay in the bootstrapped path? So that's something I'm sure a lot of people thought about it if they already have investors, but I don't, but I think about it. So I would like to know the answers.
I will write that down. I'll get you some answers. I can give you two anecdotal stories. One is
Yeah.
um, the company that picked up Raven Tools. They bought it and treated it like a cash cow. Didn't invest anything more in it. They took on funding. They're called Tap Clicks, and they wanted to grow aggressively, and they took on investors. And those investors had specific goals for sales, which meant that on the product side, I was on the product development team. I was a product manager internally, as well as externally as an SEO. The amount of changes to the development priorities was very large. Comparing the year before they took on the investors to the year after the investors were involved, of where the dollars and cents for those development cycles got placed. So so that's something to take into mind of, the more investment that you take on, the less direction you control. So you have more potential, but more potential for that to be directed to something that you didn't anticipate. And from my perspective, it was in a the direction in the year after they took on investors was very much more cynical and less robust, and a lot more focused exclusively towards generating the profits that they wanted to see versus a long-term healthy development for the company. So that would be my immediate answer from my experience, but I will pass on the question and ask, hey, what's your perspective on taking on investing and financing? And what are the risks, or when should you consider that? Because there are upsides, having a boatload of cash coming in, being able to spend that is great, but
Yeah.
also considering what are the costs and how to do that safely, and that also probably comes back to your vision for your own company, what you want it to look like. Brandon
Exactly.
Moon, Brandon Moon, who I interviewed, I'll send you his interview. He specializes in talking about, at the start of your business, think about the end of your business, end of business cycling. And so is your mission
This.
and goal to, as a SaaS, create a very comfortable bootstrap company that's a lifestyle, and you want to hire people on, give them great wages, build something awesome, and everybody, is going to keep going, and we're just going to ride this gravy train until we die. And then when you die, who does it go to? Is it going to your kids? Is it going to your partner? Have that business plan written down. I was just reading an article from Jonathan Davies about end of business planning. And that's something that, like, it's not something an entrepreneur usually thinks about. We're like, idea, idea, idea. But as
Yeah.
the idea, when an idea becomes business, then you have the opportunity to say, okay, say that I get to X MRR, then I'm open to an offer of X dollars. And when I do, I'm going to exit, or I'm going to ask to stay on board for X amount of years. Just know, and I experienced this from the other side of, when a company does get bought up by another company and you stay on, that's that's a complicated relationship. Like John Henshaw from
Yeah.
Raven
Yeah.
Tools, he stayed with the product for X amount of years, as part of the buyout. And, he brought me in to replace him. And so consider that end of business cycle. If you are looking at investment, then you also need to, that's like considering your growth spurt when you're a teenager, but not thinking about, okay, if I take steroids as a teenager, how's it going to impact me as an old man when I want to retire? So there's some heavy weight on your shoulders. That go to the park, stare at some clouds, and think about what it's going to be like when it's all over. But no, it is
Yeah.
something in the entrepreneur side that we ignore. We don't really think about
Y-
it.
Yeah, it's especially when you start to grow in like when it's getting serious. Like in the beginning, I didn't care. Like, okay, we just want to build something, but now it start getting money, and we have it's getting serious. And then you start thinking, okay, what should I do? Should I keep going like this, or can we make this even better, or even how can we even keep going? So, but I also asked this other people, like other founders who already exceeded, some founders, like everyone saying like, hey, no, don't go to investors now. So it is a little bit worrying. Like, of course you need investors sometimes, but the right time, is it correct, or do you ever need it? Because it's specifically in this area, like most of our competitors actually bootstrap. Like, for example, agency analytics is bootstrapped. I'm very surprised, but that's a good thing. But as long as if I can stay longer, then it's okay. I think mainly in the SaaS business, some main advice is don't die. Like, as long as if you can stay for like 3-4 years alive, then you're good.
Yeah, it does seem like that. And I'd also encourage looking at what's happened with SEMrush versus Ahrefs.
Some, yeah,
Ahrefs is bootstrapped, Tim Sulo, it's privately owned, and they've grown the heck out of it, but it stayed privately owned. SEMrush
yeah.
is literally a publicly traded company, and I think if you did a little bit of research of their recent decisions, you can kind of start to feel it in their product offering of how
Uh,
they're
yeah,
profit seeking.
I saw they are really fast at adding new AI stuff. Like, also, I saw they are offering a lot of AI SEO features. I was like, wow, that was fast. The pricing page was updated and everything.
It's very fast, but high risk too. So yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
I
I
was, I was,
I appreciate your time. Actually, going to stop it here, but I thank you for stopping in, Malith. Appreciate your candor. I'll add all of the links for Zapdigits to the show notes. I'll see you around.
yeah. Hey, thank you so much for your time and then for the interview.